Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our Financial Readiness Town Hall. We're so glad to have all of you on with us today. My name is Josh Black. I'm your APFA National Secretary, also moderating this session today. We're really glad to have all of you on. Today, we're going to be focusing on financial readiness, how to get through anything that the airline goes through, making sure that you're prepared for retirement when that day comes. We have monthly retirement seminars, virtual seminars already. Those kind of focus on our members who are nearing retirement and helping them go through that process. This, we really want to focus on some tools that you can use to help get through your financial journey through life. We have three really great, knowledgeable individuals here today to help walk you through this journey. So I'll hand it over to Kim Tuck to start us off.
Hi, welcome everyone. It's good to see you here today, or hopefully you are seeing us here today. Our fun presentation is called Financial Hacks for Surviving the Climb Up the Flight Attendant Pay Scale. I'm Kim Tuck, based at DFW. With me, I've got
Patrick Hancock, DFW, and the National Retirement Emeritus.
Yeah, specialist.
And I'm Ryan Mason, based in Los Angeles, here to help.
National Retirement and Financial Readiness Specialist in training. Now, he's probably got more training than I do, actually. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about a number of things during our presentation today, the first of which is the ups and downs of the flight attendant profession. Tracking your money. Planning and saving, very important. We'll get into it. How to optimize your 401k savings, and how to prepare for the unexpected. So here we go. We all know the airline industry can be very exciting. As a flight attendant, you'll be afforded unique opportunities to see the world, explore new places, meet interesting people, and experience new cultures and cuisines. But it's also a turbulent industry. There are any number of things that can affect our ability to keep and do our job. Some of those are, and we know from experience, Patrick and I, having been around for a while and probably experienced all of these, pandemic and resulting furloughs, crazy weather that disrupts operations, a volcanic eruption that shuts down air traffic worldwide, national economic downturns, government funding issues, just had a near miss on that one, the possibility of strikes during contract negotiations.
Could be in our future.
So it pays to plan ahead. So why do I need to think about this stuff now, you may ask? Well, what you do now will have a significant impact on what you're able to do in the future, physically, mentally, and financially. For example, at age 60, it's almost impossible to get into shape if you've neglected your body for the last few decades. The same is true for your money. You have the choice between taking control of your money now or being controlled by your money later, and nobody wants that. Saving is very important, but get real. I value my lifestyle. Anyone that tells you all you have to do is cut out expensive coffees, avocado toast, they're an out-of-touch buffoon. They have no idea what real people spend their money on today. Perhaps in their day, but not today. But it's so important to know where you spend your money. You may have priorities, but you need to know where you spend your money. So how? Start by figuring out where your money is going. Seriously, you got $1,800 in your last paycheck. Now you have $87 in your checking. Where did it go? Rent and stuff is a terrible answer. I hate tracking it. You hate tracking it. Ryan hates tracking it. Patrick loves tracking it, but he's a total nerd. However, he is right. It's a vital skill. And what you don't know will hurt you. So we start by tracking our spending. Commit to tracking what you spend for 40 days. Yes, 40 days. I know it seemed like a lot to me too. At the end of 40 days, if you still can't do it, try another method. But whatever you started, if it doesn't work for you, you can always try something else. Some credit cards and debit cards will auto sort your spending and allow you to keep track of at least part of what you spend. by the way, can I interest you in an Aviator Red Master Charge? We've got a limited time promotion. All right, there's an app for just about everything. Here's some examples. There's hundreds of tracking apps, but we found some that were highly rated. Best overall, Mint. Best for beginners, Good Budget. Best for serious budgeters, and I've talked to several people that use this one. YNAB, you need a budget. Best paid app for tracking all your money in accounts, Quicken. Patrick uses that one. Best app for small business owners, if you got that side hustle going, QuickBooks Online. Just some suggestions that we found online. And speaking of credit cards, we did talk about the Aviator Red. By all means, sell the hell out of them on the airplane, but do your best to pay off your personal credit cards each month. If you pay no interest, you win the game. All those bonuses really are free. Credit cards hate this trick. Using your cards responsibly and getting a good credit rating, good. Paying late fees and unnecessary interest, bad. Oh, the B word. I hate this one. No, not that one. Budget. Okay, now you've figured out where your money's going, and it's time to ask yourself, is there a better way to allocate my funds so I can put something aside to cover my expenses and still have some fun? Heck yeah. But budgets are so boring. You don't necessarily have to use the dreaded B word. But you do have to have some kind of a plan in place. So here's some popular planning methods that we found out on the web. The envelope method. Now this involves cashing your paycheck and putting wants, needs, and savings in separate envelopes. If you're not good at having that much cash around because you're just going to get into the other envelope, maybe that's not the method for you. Another method is the 20, 30, 50 method. You set aside 50% of your income for your goals, 20% for your goals, 30% for your wants, and 50% to cover your needs, bills, etc. A similar way to do it is to have separate bank accounts for each of these things. So a separate account for savings, one for fun, and one for needs. That works well for a lot of people. It's very important, first of all, to pay yourself first. What does that mean? Well, it means you set aside money for yourself before you pay anyone else, before you pay MasterCard, before you pay Visa, before you pay for the margarita at the bar. You pay yourself first. You put some money in savings. It's like taking oxygen first before assisting passengers in a decompression. But how do I do this on a new higher salary? It's so hard. Well, you start small and you make it automatic. One easy place to start is with your 401k, and Patrick's going to go into that a little bit later in the presentation. All right, living on a new higher salary. Well, let's talk a little about that. It's good if you can arrange your life, if possible, to live on your guarantee. If you have to fly 100 hours a month, I know I'd be miserable, but if I choose to fly 100 hours a month or pick up hours occasionally to cover an unexpected expense, that's okay. Small tweaks can make a big difference. The person that spends 98% of their income is much happier than the person that spends 102% of their income. I know, I've been there before. Be brutally honest with yourself about the trade-offs on saving money. Balance your need to save and living your life. Commuting to cover to a lower cost city could be a great idea, but the costs, it costs a lot of time and commuting money. If the trade-off works for you, then go for it. Having 9 roommates to live in a better part of town, go for it, or hell to the no. All right, Patrick, like I said, is going to talk a little bit about the 401k and how to avoid working forever.
All right, why do we have a 401k? Well, we have a 401k so that we can eventually retire. I know for many people, just the whole thought of retiring is like an unattainable goal. However, you would be surprised what you can do with some long-term planning and a little bit of dedication to it. Let's talk about how to avoid working forever. What's the big deal about 401k investing? I have years. No, I have decades to save for retirement. Well, that is true. The question is, do you want to do it the easy way or the hard way? Obligatory story illustration. We have two flight attendant classmates, Party Patty and Smart Susan. They're both age 25 and they're the best of friends. They hear they should start their 401k. So Party Patty signs up, contribute $5,000 a year. That's about $200 a paycheck, and then totally forgets about it. She got other thing to do. Smart Susan says she's going to get her financial affairs in order first. Fast forward 10 years. Smart Susan tells Party Patty, I've paid off my car. I've saved a down payment on a home, and I am now starting to contribute $5,000 a year to my 401k. Susan's an insufferable no.
So annoying.
And Party Patty says, my life is a mess. I'm not going to contribute another dime in the $55,000 I've already put into my 401k, and she never does. Smart Susan, however, contributes $5,000 a year from age 35 to age 60. By age 60, she's put in $130,000, more than twice as much as Party Patty. So we know who's going to have the better retirement. Obviously, Party Patty. What?
What?
No, really, it's true. With an 8% annual APR, then at age 60, Party Patty's going to have 615. Smart Susan's only going to have a $431,000. How can that be? See where the double the bet? Yeah, but run the numbers. There it is. Bam. Yeah, see, the secret magic of retirement savings is not how much you put into your retirement account. It's the magic is how much your money earns for you. Your money retired for the money. Patty put in $55,000 and earned $560. Susan put in more than double, $130,000, but it only earned $341,000. Patty's money had more time to earn that interest. And, you know, I hated high school, but you remember high school economics where $1 today is worth more than $1 next year? That whole time value of money thing. Yeah. Wake up. The flip side of that's true as well. $1 saved today is worth more at age 65 than $1 saved next year. Look at this chart. If you save $1 at age 55, all the way down to the right there, it's only worth $1.48 at age 65. But if you save $1 at age 20, at age 65, it's worth $5.84. Almost 4 times as much, because it's all about time. Time is your friend when it comes to many things. It can also be your enemy. You know, for example, you're 25, you're in great shape, you have the drive, the commitment, want to be a world-class gymnast. Too late. Gymnasts retired at age 25. That ship has sailed. You're going to have the same challenge with money too. If you don't start now, it may be too late to get where you want to go. The time to act is now. All right. Underpaid's hard, but APFA, you've convinced me, but you've forgotten how hard it is to be a poor new hire. I don't even know where to start. Well, funny you should ask. You must put in at least 2.5% into your 401k, or you're not going to get the match that American was going to give you. I know you love American Airlines, but don't give them your money. You must put in at least 2.5%, so you're capturing that match from American. After that, here's a plan to move forward, the Hancock Savings Plan. You get 2 raises a year on your flight attendant anniversary, and then when everyone else gets their contractual raise. Split them with yourself. Half goes into your pocket to buy a better brand of ramen noodles or an extra margarita on layover, and half goes into your 401k. Get a 2% raise, bump your 401k up by 1%, keep the other 1%. Your spending money goes up, your future self will be very grateful to your savvy savings. Now that you know, 30 years from now, you will remember this presentation and you will love me or hate me for it, because now that you know, the future is for you to decide. Questions? Can you read that question for us?
I have 2 traditional IRAs and wondered if it's too late at retirement age to convert one traditional IRA before retiring to Roth, especially when the market goes down, or purchase an annuity. I think there are some just for these situations. Best advice, please, as I'm paying so much in taxes.
Yeah, taxes are going to start being a bugaboo. You know, it's funny, we don't think about taxes very much when we're young in savings, but once you start taking the money out of savings, taxes becomes a big deal. And your question about the 401k versus the 401k Roth is a great question. Unfortunately, that's also a financial question, financial planning question. And without knowing the rest of your circumstances, I'd just be throwing answers out of the air. And so I'm going to direct you to the financial planner for that. You are correct. There are certain options available for converting a regular IRA and or 401k into a Roth, but it's just loaded with landmines about taxes. If you do it wrong, you end up paying taxes. You may end up paying penalties. So you really want to talk to a financial planner about it. In terms of an annuity, that's another great option. But again, you want to talk to a financial planner because they're the ones to think about what is interest rates going to be like in the next 20 years, because that determines the value of whether or not the annuity is a good choice for you. All right, I'm in.
Second, I think I have another question.
Okay.
Where do you go to do that set it and forget it thing for your 401k?
Oh, that's a great question. When you go on the 401k website of fidelity.com/ or netbenefits.com/AA, you will find under your 401k quick links, go into quick links, and you'll find you've got an option for your investments. You also have an option for your contributions. Under the contributions, you'll see when you pick a percentage, you'll also see an option to click the box to automatically increase your 401k, and then how you get to set how much each year. The default is 1%, I think.
And as far as setting and forgetting it for after-tax savings, we can still opt to have things go into 2 separate accounts from our paycheck. So a lot of people will have their spending money go into one bank account and then all their savings go into another one, often the American Airlines Credit Union, but not necessarily.
Yeah.
So.
And that's also, while you're on that page doing your contributions, you'll notice that you can contribute to the traditional 401k, the Roth 401k, and then there's something called after-tax 401k. Ignore that one unless you've gotten specific directions from your financial planner, because it's not what you think it is. But that's how you would choose whether or not you want your dollars to go into the Roth 401k or the regular. Speaking of that,
But there's more.
there's more. What do I get with that 401k again? Well, you start contributing to your 401k from day one. I hear a lot of, I can't join for a year. Nope, you can start on day one. The employer match begins after 1 year of service. And the AA contribution is 3%. They put that in there whether you contribute or not. So that's going in there. But the company will also match 2.5% of your eligible income. So you always want to do that, because if you're not, you're just giving your free money back to the company. That's stupid. The union negotiated hard to get that contribution. You should make sure you take advantage of it. The 401k is going to be your primary retirement savings, and your contribution is defined as a percentage, like you're going to do 5 or 10 or 20 or whatever percent. The maximum is defined as a dollar amount, and but you get your money and maybe the company's money depending on vesting. What is vesting? Well, vesting means it's your money to take with you when you leave. So you are always 100% vested in your own contributions. You put in, $10,000. That $10,000 is yours to take with you. However, the company contributions are not yours to take with you until you have been in the plan for 24 months. That if you leave before the end of that 24 months, American gets to keep those and you don't get to take them with you. So if you decide you've had enough of the glamour of flying and you're going to leave, try and stick it out for 24 months so that you get to take that free money with you. Just saying. All right. How much can I contribute? Maximum contribution is $22,500, and that goes up every year. This is the 2023 numbers. The maximum is indexed. The catch-up contributions, if you're over age 50, you can contribute an extra $7,500. Well, why is that? Well, we figured out that the baby boomers who were in this group, they were terrible at savings because they were never going to get old. They were never going to retire. So now they're screwed unless they actually do the catch-up. So that's why we have catch-up. Company contributions are over and above these limits. So I could put in the $22,500 and the company match goes above and beyond that, which is cool. How does that work? Well, if you contribute $4,000 a year, after 1 year, you've got $4,000 after, oh, wait, what? That $4,000 hasn't been taxed yet. So 1,000 of that belongs to Uncle Sam. I just have possession of it right now. Interesting thought. So after 10 years, I've got $40,000. By the time I get ready to retire, I'm gonna have $148,000. Okay, now I'm getting to, that's getting closer to being retired. And not only do I have the money I put in there, but you earn interest on that money. And if you only earn interest on your contributions, by the time you get ready to retire, you'd have about 200,000. But that's not the point of long-term savings, because you not only earn interest on your contributions, but you earn interest on the interest. Bam, look at that. If you see right there about year 10, I know you can't see it because it's a little tiny slide, but if you see right there, my interest and interest on the interest is more than $4,000 in that year. Now, remember, I'm only putting in $4,000. That year, my money started working harder for my retirement than I was. I call it hitting the power curve, because look what happens to that curve after that. It just starts to go straight up. That's the magic. That's how you get to have enough money, because if you're doing that and you're interested on the interest, by the time you're going to retire, bam, you're going to have 460,000. Okay, now we're talking about much better retirement. You know that magic point where you hit the power curve? I noticed when that happened, I throw a party. My friends think I'm the biggest geek in the world. That could be right, but they came for the beer anyway. But yeah, so I really like that whole power curve thing. But I sometimes wonder, what would have happened if right there about year 10, that used car I drove to training, drove to my new base, finally died. And I took out $10,000 to buy a used Camry, because, you got to get to work. That's how you make your money, right? Or something really important, like year 20. I took out $50,000 to put my kid through college, because that's kind of our new paradigm, right? We pay for our kids' college education. Yeah, bad idea. Because if I had done that by the time I got ready to retire, that $10,000 I took out back then would have cost me $74,000. And that is one damn expensive used Camry. I know you don't want to talk to your mom, and I don't want to talk to Uncle Bill, but don't touch it. I know it's the biggest pile of money you've ever seen with your name on it, but don't touch it, because if you bust the power curve, you will not have celebrations, and you will have a much different kind of retirement. Okay.
Moving along.
So much for that sorrow. Remember that $4,000 from the first year? What happened to that? Well, 1,000 of it belongs to Uncle Sam, and he wants it back. So what happened to that $1,000? Well, in the first year, I have that $1,000, and look, it earns interest and interest on the interest. So by the time I got to retire, it's worth about $5,000. I have to give Uncle Sam the $1,000 back, but I've got $4,000 that I earned on Uncle Sam's money. That's the benefit of tax deferred saving, is I earn money on interest on money that isn't actually mine. I just have it for the moment. Speaking of ways to contribute, there's two options in your 401k. Traditional, which is what we've been talking about. You pay no taxes on the front end, but you pay taxes on everything on the back end. There's another option, the Roth. And you pay taxes on the front end, but no taxes on the back end or anything it earns. Wait a minute. Didn't you just tell me, Patrick, that the bulk of my retirement savings is interest and interest on the interest? Yeah, I did. You mean I don't pay taxes on any of that interest and interest on interest? No, you don't. It's one of the there's one of two places I know of in the tax code where you earn tax-free money, not tax deferred, not tax, it's tax-free money. The other one, by the way, is those silly municipal bonds, and I've never understood those. So go talk to your financial advisor about those. Now, remember, even though you're putting money into the Roth, the employer contribution is always going to be placed in a traditional account, no matter which one you're putting it in. I wish they'd say that the employer match could go into the Roth, but it's not taxed yet, so it can't. Yeah. So if I've got these 401k two different choices, which should I choose? Well, that depends. Just like most things. Traditional 401k, you put in 4,000, grew to 20,000, you take it out. Let's assume a 25% tax rate, you pay 5,000, leaves you 15,000 to spend. With the Roth 401k, it's taxed on the front end. So you only have $3,000 to put in, but it grows to 15,000. And like I said, zero tax on that, on your contribution or the interest when you take that out, leaving you $15,000 to spend, which, you know, under both the traditional and the Roth, I've got 15. But life is not so simple. That is only true because we assume the tax rate was the same in every time period, 25%. But what if it was lower on the front end, 10% because I'm a lowly paid flight attendant, and higher on the back end, 36% because I'm a wealthy retiree I aspire to be? Well, now you get a separate, different answer. Under the traditional, I only have 12,000. Under the Roth, I have 17,000. So that's something else you have to kind of guess. What are my tax brackets going to be? What's my tax bracket now? I'm a geek and I only know what tax bracket I'm in once a year when I finish up that 401k. So, yeah. Hey, how does that 401k compare to the other tax deferred ways to save? You know, we talked about the 22,500 plus the 7,500 catch up. The IRA has only 65,000 plus 1,000 catch up, and the Roth is the same 6,500. Or if you've got self-employment income, like those with side hustles, you can have up to 15,000 in that. Did you know Uncle Sam will even pay you to save? That they will give you up to 50% of credit on your taxes if you save. Here's the example of married filing jointly. If your adjusted gross income is not more than 43,500, Uncle Sam will give you 50% of your retirement savings back as a credit. Questions?
There are some questions. So generally speaking, if I'm 63, I think this is an addition to the first question. So generally speaking, if I'm 63, is there really an advantage to doing a 401k to a Roth conversion? I think it would be more advantageous for the younger people. Thank you.
Well, remember we said that the money in the traditional you haven't paid tax on. So if you take it out and put it into a 401k and you Roth and you're doing the rollover into that, you still have to pay taxes on it when you take it out. So the question is, what tax bracket are you in now? What tax bracket are you going to be in? Talk to your financial planner, because that's the kind of question you want to ask them.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. And I'll use a personal example. I had split my contribution between the 401k pre-tax and the Roth after-tax options, and I am when I file my status single with no deductions, no kids, and no house like that, the Roth contribution currently ended up hurting me by not reducing my adjusted gross, so I ended up having to pay taxes. So just a lot of these examples that we're giving are general examples. Everyone's situation is different because somebody else could do the same thing that I'm doing and have a different tax situation and end up not having to owe taxes. But you know, I thought of that same idea, like, let me pay taxes now, because the idea is I'll probably be paying taxes later, but I ended up paying taxes now and I'll pay taxes later. So it's just, but it's just based on my current situation.
And when it came down to paying taxes now, you thought you were prepared, but then you went, ouch.
Yes, I did. Ouch.
Yeah, and that offer to get you a couple of children, so you can have that deduction. Still
And I got a spouse and a couple children
in a house for that deduction.
Too
Yeah,
bad you
all
can't
right.
declare your.
Yes. And then there's another question. Can you explain, I think you touched on a little bit, what a vested amount is?
Okay, so a vested amount in your 401k means you own it. Nobody can ever take it away from you. So once you're vested in the 401k plan, all the money that you put in, which you don't really have to vest in, but all the money, the match and the company contributions are yours. So if you leave the company, you take it all with you. That's what it means to be vested.
And how long do I have to be in the plan to vest?
24 months.
24 months. Okay, super.
Great. So now that we have our money in our 401k, we're budgeting and we're on our journey, how do we pick our investments? So when it comes to your 401k, the general direction is an age target fund. And this is a fund that is based on the target age of retirement. These funds are recommended. They're a mix of stocks and bonds from some of your age, based on a year of projected retirement on the date, on a age that you want to retire. And as you age, they change the mix, most likely being a little bit more aggressive as you're younger, being a little bit more conservative as you age. There are approximately 26 different investment funds to choose from. Some of those examples include high yield bond fund, large cap stock index, emerging market stock fund, US small cap index fund, And so beyond that, if you are a do-it-yourself investor and the 26 options just are not enough for you, there are ways you can invest your 401k money in almost any legal US investment without losing the protection of being in the 401k. The Fidelity is the company that holds our 401k money. So all of this is done through Fidelity. And how? So 401k has what's called the brokerage link. It's a stock investment option inside the 401k. If you are wanting to go that route, you can call Fidelity or go online. You can open that brokerage link account. You can transfer the money from your 401k into brokerage link and invest in any stock that's sold on the US exchange. And the goal is to get profit and make money. So you can invest in stocks, you can invest in mutual funds, you can invest in ETFs, ADRs, GDRs, commodity future ETFs. Yes, 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 yes. And in the future, coming soon will be crypto if you are choosing to go down that route. The one thing that you cannot invest in is American Airlines stock.
I don't think I'd recommend that anyway.
Maybe not right now. So I know it's too intimidating, but what if you make the wrong decision? If handling your own investments makes you uncomfortable, which is why we are going through this presentation, we are giving general information, but also trying to allow you to understand where you're at, where you can go to get more information. There are several firms that will sell you advice. 401k Maximizer. If you're out on an airplane, you might hear lots of flight attendants talking about Easy Tracker. You can contact them here. They are available to help with investing. The credit union also has free financial advisors for members. And Fidelity also has investment services if you have additional questions. If you choose to continue on that road of doing it yourself, there are lots of podcasts and videos available for any kind of investor. If you want to further that education, go to the School of Social Media. And just as a disclaimer, these are all just options. This is not something that APFA endorses. These are just examples. If you are wanting even more in-depth advice, you can contact your financial advisor. So now what? I'm paying myself first. I'm working hard to pay off my debts and not create new debts. I'm covering my expenses just barely, but I'm doing it. As we talked about, I'm even a little left over for shopping and entertainment and those margaritas on the layover that we referenced a few times.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. So you think your work's done? Not quite. Then life happens. What if you're unable to work? How can you protect yourself, your family, and your income? Let's talk about how we can protect the hard work you have already done. Protection from the union and the government have already been in place. Some of the union protections that have been negotiated contractually, we have sick time, maternity disability, you have 1 year active premium rates for health benefits. Government offers workman's comp, unemployment, social security disability. Then there's other optional levels of protection that is offered through American Airlines, but also APFA. Some of those from American Airlines include optional short-term disability, long-term disability, accident insurance, critical illness coverage, voluntary term life. Some of the special benefits that are at APFA are similar to those at American: disability, accident, critical illness, and life insurance. The idea of these protections are, as you are on your financial journey, you don't want anything to derail that journey and having to pull money from places that are not going to help you. Whether you are pulling from a credit card, you're pulling from your 401k, we want to protect that income and we want to protect that journey that you've been on. I'll use me again as an example. A few years ago, I had broke my arm ice skating. I was out for probably 3 weeks. I was able to, unfortunately I live in California, so I had short-term disability. I also had the short-term disability that I had paid through APFA. And I also had accident insurance, which I don't remember the exact price, but it was qualified under the accident. So that added a little bit of extra cash for me since I wasn't able to push around a beverage cart for a few weeks. But you say to yourself, I'm young and I'm healthy. The easiest time to get some of these benefits, including life, disability, and long-term care insurance, is when you are young and healthy. Oftentimes when we're younger, you think, I don't have any responsibility, I don't have a family, I don't have kids. But if you think about these things before those things happen, or if you have a health issue, those premiums will increase. The younger you are, the healthier you are, you'll pay a lower premium.
Throughout the long term.
Throughout the long term, yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the difference between life insurance and what there is available.
This is really confusing to me.
Yeah, it's confusing to me sometimes. So we have term life insurance and whole life insurance. It's worth noting that American offers a life insurance policy that comes with employment. That is in the event that you are no longer with us, but they're also the offer of term life insurance. So term life insurance is oftentimes lower premiums. It's defined as a set number of years, 10 years, 20 years, something like that. It is merely just a benefit in the event that you are no longer here, and that benefit is a value amount. It could be $500,000, $1 million, something that's paid out if you are no longer here. When it comes to a whole life policy, this is something that you have for life. It comes with a living benefit and a death benefit. So what is a living benefit? So it's something that you will accrue money through the life of the policy, and it's something that you are able to draw from when it comes time to retire. And what makes these most interesting is that they're not connected to the market. So they see a consistent value increase over time. So it has that benefit that you can use in the event that when you retire and you can pull from it. And then it also has the death benefit in the event that you are no longer here.
So wait, if something happens and I retire early and I have a whole life, I can take some of the money out. It acquires a cash value.
Depending on the age, you can start taking it out.
Okay, yeah. Interesting.
So it's I know this is a touchy subject sometimes because we're talking about in the event that we are not here, but what makes the whole life policy appealing to some people is that living benefit in the event that when you're retiring. One of the examples I was using earlier is that, during COVID, if all your money was tied up in a 401k that was attached to the market, the market took a huge hit. So a benefit like this with money that is not attached to the market, somebody that's retiring during that time, they can pull from that life insurance policy, living benefit, and then leave their 401k alone until the market comes back and gets a little bit of their money back before they can start pulling from it.
Go recovery.
Yeah, that recovery time. So other ways to survive this financial turbulence: emergency savings. Experts recommend 3 to 6 months of living expenses. If we learned anything through the pandemic, we probably want to be closer to that 6-month time versus the 3-month time. But realistically, anything is better than nothing. As I already said, we don't want to, the goal of an emergency fund is that we don't want to turn to credit cards. We don't want to turn to our 401k because we don't want to derail the work that we've already done. It's a good idea to have enough on hand to cover your insurance deductibles. And it never holds to cultivate a side hustle. I meet with flight attendants all the time on the airplane. They're like, I do this. Patrick, what do you do on the side?
I'm training both trust estates and probate.
Yeah,
Texas.
I teach ice skating, which is a nice little, fun little side gig for me.
I'm still working on mine. I'm a late bloomer.
So, invest in improving your future options. One of the amazing things about being a flight attendant is that you have the flexibility to do things that other people don't have. You can finish a degree, get certification, teach yourself a skill set, Go back to school. Flight attendant, being a flight attendant is an incredibly flexible job for going to school. Any of these things can lead to a side hustle that can cultivate an additional income that can only strengthen your current financial situation. So takeaways from today, know where your money is going and take control over it. Have a plan in place to pay yourself first. Start contributing to your 401k early, even if it's small, and leave it alone. Oh, look, I went a little bit ahead. Set it and forget it. Make your savings automatic. Start building up that emergency fund. Set up the risk protection coverage, those additional benefits that can assist you and help you in the event that something goes wrong, so you're not going back and derailing the progress that you have. So, but most importantly, say thank you to yourself. It isn't always easy to get started, but if you're here today, you're wanting to take the next step, and you can do this. One day your older self will look back and say, thank you for being smart and prepare for departure. If you have any questions, it looks like, can you talk about Edelman Financial, and do you recommend it and why? This is offered through American.
Patrick can take that one.
Actually, we did talk about that. Ryan was talking about you can buy advice, and one of the where places you can buy advice is through Fidelity. They do charge a percentage of the money in your account, and they don't actually do that themselves. They outsource that to Edelman, but they're all contracted together, so your privacy is protected. So we're not sending your information out to somebody strange, but that's how Fidelity handles their investment advices through Edelman Financial Engines.
All right.
Okay, so is there anything in negotiation about the 401k contribution and match? And we don't have any negotiators here today, but we know that we are pushing in negotiations to have a higher company contribution and a higher employee match. So that is something we're going for in negotiations.
We don't necessarily know where that will end up, but the more, the better. I think we want more contribution,
Yes.
less. So we're
More company contribution and
Yeah.
less that,
having,
more that they'll match without us,
Yeah.
doing anything.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
Also, has there, what's the difference? I guess I'll take this one too. Someone asked about the difference between the free term life insurance from American versus the voluntary term life from American. And the free, everybody gets term life insurance from American. So that's the, I guess, I don't know what it's called. It's just called term life insurance on your pay stub, and it shouldn't really have a value on your pay stub, but it's 2 times your pay up to 70,000. So if 2 times your pay is more than 70,000, you end up paying a little bit extra. Oh, even though it's technically free up to a certain level. And then the voluntary term life is where every year during benefits enrollment, you can buy up another level. So you can do, in addition to the 2 times pay from the company, you can do 2 more times pay, up to like 7 or 8 times your pay, I think is where it caps out. So we've had some people ask about that. Anything else that you guys have that people are asking about?
I was going to make a comment. Ryan was talking about how, getting a side hustle. And one of the interesting things I've discovered talking to a lot of people about a side hustle is that it helps you in being a flight attendant. Sometimes being a flight attendant can be maddening. Passengers.
Coworkers.
Badly over. Terrible. It could be, but having a side hustle allows you to not focus on that when you're doing the other. And it actually gives you some perspective and balance. It really helps, in addition to the financial backstop. If you're 100% totally financially dependent on American Airlines and being a flight attendant, you have one perspective. If you have multiple streams of income, it allows you to be a little more objective about the value of the job to you. So I think Ryan's 100% right there. And being a flight attendant gives you options to pick up other skills and side hustles that most jobs you couldn't even dream of having that kind of flexibility.
It's very true. Yep.
Now, didn't I hear something about a proposed federal law change because you were talking about the 401k and the company contribution not being able to go into the Roth 401k. Did that pass or?
Matt?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 years ago, there was something called the Secure Act, which had a lot of changes within the 401k and the IRAs that are still cascading down. Not the least of which is the higher contribution cap. Secure 2.0 passed, I'm saying January of this year. It's very recent. Secure 2.0 has some really interesting options. One of which is that you can the employer and the union can agree that the match, so I put money in the account, the company matches, that the match can follow my money into the Roth. So that you don't build money into the, again, that has to be negotiated because the government ain't gonna let you get that contribution without paying tax on it. And remember, my Roth contribution, it's like Ryan was saying, he had to pay tax on that. So if the company match is gonna go into the Roth, 401k Roth, then somebody's got to pay the tax on it. And so that's where the negotiations come from. But yeah, that's an option coming up. Can I talk about something else in the Secure 2.0 Act?
Is there a new age-based contribution?
There's the age-based contribution. They're adding yet a third window for catch-up contributions. They're dropping it down to, they're going to add a 60 to 65, and I think that's the number. Don't kill me if I'm wrong on that. But that'll give you an additional, because the boomers are still terrible at saving. So they're trying to give you one last chance to get the money into that 401k. There's also building into the 401k a new investment option. And the investment option is called emergency savings. And you can put money into the emergency savings, take it out, and put it back in. Now, it's not a lot. I think it's like $1,000 or something. But I've been a lot of times in my life where $1,000 should be super important. I need new tires and I don't have any money. And if I could reach in and take that out without penalty, without paying taxes and put it back in, it would have been great. That's something else that, you know, we're having discussions with the negotiating team about all of that stuff because it's, like I say, it's brand new.
Yeah, and just to, if it wasn't clear when you're talking about the money that, that you are contributing, if I'm contributing all my money into a 401k, which is, or excuse me, into a Roth, which is after tax, anything that the company is going to match or contribute is automatically going into the 401k. So you might look at your on Fidelity and see your statement and see, wait a minute, I've only been putting it to Roth, but there's stuff over here in the 401k. That money is what's coming from the company, and that's what Patrick's talking about.
And we're hoping to be able to at some point fix that and have the company contributions and match follow your contributions.
Yeah.
So I think that might be it for today.
Yeah.
Unless you see any other questions out there, Josh?
No submissions.
We want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you very much. And this is a new presentation for us. So if you have any suggestions, just email them to my department, retirement@apfa.org. And thanks for joining us. Ryan and Patrick, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Any
Yeah.
parting thoughts from anyone?
Yeah, no, it was just, Kim said it nice. This is a new presentation. We have hundreds, thousands, sometimes I think, coming, new flight attendants coming out of training. I was just there yesterday with 150 that are graduating today. So if some of this advice is useful for anybody at any seniority, but most importantly, like starting out with that climb up the pay scale. So this will be something I think we're going to do twice a year. It will evolve, and to that, if you have any feedback or questions or something that we might have missed that could have been touched upon, we're happy to address that.
And I would just say, you know, there's another flight attendant we didn't talk about in our Party Patty and Smart Susan, and that's Clueless Kim, because when Kim started flying, she had no idea about, I mean, the 401k maybe didn't exist till a year later or something, but she didn't know what it
Are
was.
you
And it
clueless, Kim?
took a while for her to start putting into it, even though there were maybe people around her that were talking about it, but it just kind of went over her head. So now, don't be a clueless Kim, start putting just the minimum into your 401k right away, and you'll be really glad you did.
I will say I'm very glad that I did that when I started. I've been doing the annual increase since I started at American. So every year when I get a pay raise, that 1 extra % goes in. I don't really feel it because I'm already getting a pay raise. So at the very least, that's a really great way to build it over time. And I've been with American for 8 years now, and looking at my balance now, I'm like, I'm really glad that I did that. You know, it really, time is the most important thing with all of this too, and making sure that your investments have time to grow throughout time. So
Yeah.
really good advice.
Well said. Question, Josh. Ryan mentioned that we've got like these 150 new people coming on. They obviously didn't get a chance to watch this today. Will it be available on the website for them to watch?
Great question, Patrick. Yes, it is. This session is recorded, so we'll have this on the retirement page of the website. We'll also send this out via hotline afterwards, and encourage any of your flying partners to check it out and submit some questions. Good. All right. Any other parting thoughts or advice before we leave?
That's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us today. We wish you the best of luck on your financial journey, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions for us. Fly safely.
Bye.
All right.